Has anybody ever told you that in order to be super rich or maybe even a billionaire, that you have to invent something or start something that's super unique that nobody has ever thought about? Really, has anybody ever told you that? Or do you feel that way inside? If you do, I'm here today to tell you and share with you a quick story of three brothers. They became billionaires by copying other people. Folks, my name is Johnny Lee Reinoso, and I shared with you many a times in different videos that success leaves clues. And I say this time after time, that rather than pave that road, think about like a long dirt road, and you're trying to get to the promised land, and then you got another road that's already paved over here. Now, it might go this way, and then it might turn that way to get you to the promised land, while you have this one that's very dirt-driven going this way, and you think, I gotta pave this road to get there. Meanwhile, there's already this road done. Why not just go this way? Why go this way? Because you think that if it's harder, it's going to be better, that I'm supposed to suffer along the way. Folks, suffering along the way is going to come in and of itself, just naturally, because that's the way business works. But success leaves clues. So why not just follow the successful path, even though it might take you a tiny bit longer, and start to iterate slightly along the way so it becomes more about you, more of you, because you're gonna give it its own little flavor. You see, you don't have to pave the way. Now let me explain. Three brothers, three German brothers. Now I'm gonna look at my phone here because I don't wanna mess this up, and I truly want you to get this, and you could Google this yourself. It's a great, great, great reminder. These are three brothers that became multi-billionaires, billionaires in Europe. Mark, Oliver, and Alexander Samwer. They became billionaires by cloning successful US startups like eBay, like Airbnb, and Amazon, and launching their own replicas in Europe. You see, they saw eBay was working in the US. I don't know the name of it in Europe, but they saw that it was working in the US. And they saw that eBay was not in Europe yet. They took that framework. Now, they didn't go and steal their code and steal their logo and see, that's where stupidity comes in. I'm not talking about breaking the law here, right? And copywriting. I'm talking about doing what they already created and making it your own. So they took the framework, which is the hardest part in business, which is what can we create that could bring great value to the marketplace? In this case, it is a marketplace where people can put things for sale and consumers could come and buy things. eBay, they took that exact concept, they brought it over to Europe. They didn't reinvent anything else. The whole thing was almost identical to how eBay operated in the United States. So what do you think eBay did? They went and picked them up for 20 some odd or 40 some odd million dollars within a year of creating that framework and that business in Europe. Think about that for a second. Airbnb, they did the same thing, and they turned around and sold it to these companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. Now you can sit here and say, well, that sucks because they just created a competitive environment for these organizations. They went ahead and had to get swallowed up so that they wouldn't have to compete with these other companies. You're wrong. Because in most case studies that these three brothers did, what they did was they actually created this framework in this business, this marketplace. They became very successful in their environment and in their market. And then they turned around and sold it to the company that they were emulating. And they were happy to buy the company from them because guess what? They already were in the market that they wanted to now expand to. Folks, what does this have to do with the JLR sales trainer, sales coach that I am? If you are entering the game of sales, if you're currently in the game of sales and you leave Honda and you went and joined Mercedes as a sales guy, and you got Tiago sitting in the corner with a beautiful Rolex. He's driving an S550 or whatever he's driving himself, and he's chilling, and he's got a ton of customers coming in, and they're buying G-Wagons and the top-of-the-line Mercedes vehicles and all that stuff, and you're like, wow, he's crushing it. And then you go home and you think about how you want to be that way, but then you come in later than him and you leave before him. You take your lunch break the whole time. You're constantly making sure you could get your days off and your PTO. And then you're complaining and you're whining and you don't know why you're not like Tiago over there. It's because you're not following his framework. You see, these three brothers in Europe are telling us that if you take a successful business model that works and you do it somewhere else, you're going to be successful. I'm here to tell you, as somebody who has no college degree, who was told he has ADHD, who was told that he can't read, write correctly, who was told that he's cognitive not working well, all of these things telling me that I'm not going to be successful. And I went ahead and I joined an organization. I looked at the number one sales guy and I said, what are you doing? How are you doing it? Tell me more. Let me understand. And I asked him questions consistently where he kept sharing me more and more. And what I did was, if he said do 9, I did 18. If he said come in at 7, I came in at 6. If he said make 100 calls, I made 150 calls. Because if that's what made him successful, why the freak would I try to pave my own way? Ask yourself that question. I'm sick and tired of salespeople. I go into organizations and they say, I want to get better. I want to be like Lisa. I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Steve. And then I go, well, let's talk to them. Let's have them stand up. Come here, stand up in the front of the room. What do you do? Let's write it down. Top 10 things you do. I read a book a month. I work out 5 days a week. I have a great relationship with my Lord and Savior. I ask a million questions to the prospect when I'm speaking to them. I make 150 cold calls a day. I do this, that. I do 15 demos a week. And I close 10 deals a month. Great. And what do you do? Well, I mean, I have a family, so I can't make that many phone calls really, because I don't, and working out, no, I don't, what does that have to do with making money? I go to church and I don't know what to tell you folks. 3 brothers, billionaires, copying US companies, bringing them to Europe. And I can tell you about countless salespeople who are millionaires copying people who are doing exactly what they want to do to get the result that they're hoping for. Stop making excuses. Success leaves clues. Proximity is power. Let's go crush it. So, do me a favor. Join this mission. If you want to win and you want to crush it, but you don't know who to reach out to, click the link below, Scale with JLR. Allow one of our sales consultants. We have tremendous experience working with many folks in the industry, and let us work with you to start thinking about creating the right framework and the right playbook so that you could ultimately be the number one in your company and in your industry. And like this video and share it with others so I can bring more value to folks just like you. Cheers.